We did not win that game, but it was sure exciting, and I remember it like it was yesterday. A big marker for a young goaltender to come up and Guy, you're right. There's a lot of young players who it takes them a while to break into the game, and I don't think it's necessarily because they don't have the skill. There's certainly things you have to learn about on the ice, but it's the mental game you have to get a grip on.
Yeah, and especially for a goaltender. We've seen that in Blues history throughout and throughout. So let me ask you that a little bit. How did you get that forget it mentality? I mean, what brought up that mentality that you end up having? That, you know, first of all, you're playing with guys 3 years older than you for the longest part of your time. Said that you were, you know, always playing with guys older than you. Up here is where a goalie's skill is, you know, not here. But how do you keep that thought process of, you know, how to stop the next one?
Well, it's funny you should say that, or to ask that question, yeah, and that's a great question. There's a skill that I think most successful goaltenders learn, and I know you said you've interviewed some great ones here on the show, you know, and I think they'd all say the one thing in common is it's a skill that you have to focus on what you have control over. You can't focus on the things you don't have control over. And I would offer that that's a life skill too. We can all take something away from that. In life, there's just too many things we don't have control over. But if you find out the things that you do and you focus on that, you're going to be more successful than not. And for a goaltender, it's number one, preparation. You know, what you do to prepare for a game, you know, the training that you do, the visualization, the diet, the exercise, the study of the players that are on the other team. All of that's done before the game, obviously. And then when the game starts, training kicks in, for lack of a better term. And as a former service member yourself, and having served in the Navy
and that was Ed Stanowski. Let me say, dun, 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 dun. Aloha! Welcome to the Blue Note Fan Report. I'm Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, and I'm your host on the show that is by a fan for the fan, and you have to know absolutely about you, the fan. That is an interview that me and the real Brock Banner did with Ed Stanowski. Ed was a really, really good backup goalie, played on the 80 team with Mike Liut, just a great person all around. And he said something really important in that. Preparation. Control what you can control. The Blues don't do that. And today, we're going to find out if they can control what they can control. Let me first bring in what I can control, the real Brock Banner. Hey, Brock, how you doing, buddy?
Morning. I've been hyped up all morning for the game. I'll be honest with you. I didn't think I'd be up. I was pretty down on the team, but I'm up for it today. I think they got to come out inspired.
Yeah, I do too. Hey, man, Brock, can you do me a favor real quick? Yep. Can you share this in a few groups? Let's Go Blues, St. Louis Blues Crew, CREW, and True Blue Fan Zone. I'm at my limit of sharing. I've been trying to get as much as I can. And you know, it's hard to do it all when you're running a show. So if you could do that for me while we're getting started, sure. Get as many people. Hey, you know, my goal is to get 100 people watching us. And we've had up to 50, right? Mm-hmm. We've gotten them. You know, if there were more groups that were a little bit more, you know, had their heads pulled out of their butts a little bit, we'd get better. But you know what? This is a huge game for the Blues. Sure. And not only that, here's something that a lot of Blues fans may not know. This is the only Blues pregame today, right? Oh. We're the only Blues pregame. We're the only Blues intermission, and we're the only Blues profile or post-game show. So it'll be a lot of fun. I actually almost had a really, really, really special guest today. Gerard Boss, the Dutch Blues fan.
Yeah. Yep.
I reached out to him. He said, "Oh, you know what? I wish you'd have told me a little earlier because I got a friend coming over, but he might watch." I sent him the link. All right, tagged him in the link, so I'm hoping he watches. And I'm hoping a whole bunch of my the St. Louis Blues Warriors watch. I know a lot of them are starting to follow me, and that's a lot of fun. You and me had a really good talk yesterday. We just kind of did an impromptu. You know what? I figured out why it didn't go in the lounge. I had to hit a go live on another thing. So I have to make this go live, and then I got to go live to somewhere else. Okay, so Roland's got it in all the Blues groups, and hopefully we'll get a whole bunch of people watching us. Lance should be showing up here in a little bit. If not, you and me, and we'll go from there. We'll answer all the questions that we get. We'll talk about this game.
I'm sharing groups right now, just so you know, as we're kind of talking. If I look distracted, I just want to let you know what's going on. I'm sharing it out myself here.
Okay, no problem, man. And that's good. Yeah. You know, Roland shared it to a bunch, so that's fine. So we'll just go from there. You know, the pick'em contest, man. Got sick. We were touting it yesterday, and I touted it I figured out how to tout it in the lounge. Got 7 new players today.
Oh.
Right? Yeah. And then one guy that played like once and then came back. Let me see if I can name some of these players off. So Roberta Clem from the lounge, first-time player. Samuel Gibraltar, I think he's played before, but he's new. Richard Campbell, one of our writers, he's in. Thanks, Rich. You put a post out about Vince Dunn being on fire. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I don't know if he's been on fire, but he's played better of late.
Yeah,
he hasn't made some of the mistakes. He's done better with Wallman by playing his own, not worrying about. See, that's what I think Vince Dunn's problem is. I think Dunn tries to do too much because he feels he has to do too much. Keep it simple, man. Worry about your zone.
He's also got the coach in his ear screaming about doing a lot more. You know, you have to, Berube's been on him.
Yeah, but he's doing too much. He's not doing, and that's my issue with Dunn, because it seems like all his mistakes are because he's trying to cover the other zone, not his zone. Right? So that's kind of where I am on Dunn. Oh man, I'll tell you what, news came out today. Let me get back. See, I get distracted so quick. Let me get back real quick to the new people in the thing. Kevin Tabor, who played like once, is back in it. Let's see. Danny Johnson, I think this is his first or second time in it. Steve Heitman, right? Welcome, Steve. Marianne Holmes has been in and out, so good to have her. Really great to see this. I think we're at 28 right now. I haven't gotten in. You haven't gotten in. Hopefully we'll get some more in, and, people are watching. We'll talk more about this. E. Guido says he's in, and yeah, he is. Right? Oh, my goodness. It's time for the legend. Are you ready? It is Lance Dascotte from The Drop. Hey, Lance, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, how are you?
Oh, man, I'm doing good. You excited today, man?
Well, I am and I'm not, because I just don't know what to expect from this team. Sometimes they're very good. Sometimes they're very bad. For all I know, they could pull another one of those Minnesota Wild games and score 8 goals, or we could go and not score any goals. So it's just tough to read this team. And, this team's got a lot of issues.
Yeah, I agree. One of the things that came out today that I'm actually not happy with, Thomas is in, Clifford's out. I think that's a mistake. I'm sorry. You sit there. Here's my issue right now, and I'm going to spout it out, and then I'll let you guys go off it. Here's my issue. Berube has constantly berated this team for their mistakes. He sat guys left, right, and center. Left, right, and center. Sat guys. Called them out. Except Sanford. Sanford has made some of the most egregious mistakes, and it's almost like every time he makes a mistake, the referee's pulling out of the back of our net. But he doesn't get sit. This is where I think his message has gotten stale. This is exactly where I think his message has gotten stale, because you cannot sit there and say, stop the mistakes or I'm going to sit you. Not you, Sanford. You're fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got to jump in here real quick, Lance, and then I'll definitely open up the floor to you, because I kind of disagree, because I think Sanford brings some energy to that line. Again, he made a mistake. I get it. It seems like his mistakes are magnified more than any other mistakes. Justin Falk made a mistake, So I get that. Definitely the guy who feels the worst about this is Sanford. He's definitely not sleeping well. He knows this is not the way he wants to play or how he wants to be remembered. So again, I look for this guy to come out inspired. It seems like every time this guy's pushed or put down or punched in the mouth by like Robert Bortuzzo, he comes back and has responded. So I don't know. I think he's going to come back. And again, I think it says a lot for Coach Berube to have some confidence in the guy. Because again, you know what? He scores goals for us, man. He scored big goals for us. So again, I don't know that I'm on part of his fan club or anything like that, but I'm actually willing to cut the guy a bit of a break. I think I hold the veterans a little bit more accountable than the younger guys. So, I mean, I'll turn it over to you guys.
Lance?
Well, I think Sanford, he's been in the league long enough where you can say he's a veteran. He's not just played 1 year. He's played couple of years now in the league. And I'm sorry, but when you follow a line of thinking, a line of reasoning with setting people and disciplining people, and it only applies to part of the locker room or most of the locker room and not one or two players, sends a bad message. And I'm telling you, it's not a good message you want in that locker room. I don't think Sanford's as bad as people say he is. I don't think he's as good as people say he is. It's kind of like the Jake Allen thing. You either hate him or you like him. I'm somewhere in the middle. But it just seems like to me, I had someone tell me, well, he makes less mistakes and more goals off of O'Reilly passes and Perron passes and Kairou's passes. Those end up in the net, more than Sanford's. No, I'm sorry. Every time Sanford makes a mistake, it's at a crucial situation, at a crucial time of the game when your head should be in the game even more than it is at the rest of the game. Just like Berube said after the game, he said Sanford did not, he wasn't in the game, didn't look at the situation, didn't look at the time left, so on and so forth. Sanford needs to be set. He has never set him for his mistakes. And you can't do that. You cannot do that. You've got to set the guy. You've got to give him some time to think. And I called him Berube's pet the other day, and some guy got him. He goes, "Well, that's a good thing." No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Not have pets. And somebody said, "Well, he's the best guy on the team that plays Berube's system." I disagree with that. There's other guys on that team that play that system a lot better. I don't hate Zach Sanford, but I don't like him either. I can give or take him. If he's in the lineup, okay. If he's not, okay. But you can't treat guys that way. Sure, Crosby gets treated a certain way. McDavid gets treated a certain way. Draisaitl gets treated a certain way. Marchand gets treated a certain way. But I'm sorry. Sanford is not in the league of those guys where they deserve that much respect.
I get that. But also, if you're going to talk about key mistakes at key moments, Alex Pietrangelo, I mean, my God, that guy had a terrible playoff series and, coughing up goals against the Sharks. I mean, he did not do very well in key situations. But again, he was our captain. He, signed $1 million contract. I mean, mistakes are made. I get it. But I think to show confidence in a young guy like Sanford, it could went either way. It could have been, we hate you, we're down on you, you're done in this league, or you know what, let's turn it around and we need you. And I think the message of confidence, it can only help the guy.
Okay, Brock, I want to
with you, but we'll go ahead.
I want to throw a situation in here. I hear what you're saying, but I don't think you hear what you're saying. No, because let me throw a situation on you.
I think he hears what he's saying. I understand what he's trying to say, but go ahead.
Okay, but let's go in your job, your regular job, right? You're an expert in your job. You've been doing it for a while, right? No problem. You've got a guy that's been in it for a couple of years. This guy's making mistakes left, right, and center. You're fixing his mistakes. You're constantly having to fix his mistakes. You're describing the U.S. military, just so you know. Okay, yeah. So you've got to cover for those mistakes. Yeah. Then you turn around and make one mistake. You haven't made a mistake in a while. You make one mistake, and my goodness, you're on the carpet. You're on the carpet. First of all, not just how you see it, how do your other coworkers see it, right? If I'm the other coworkers and I see you get put on the carpet for one mistake, I'm going to be, oh my goodness, Brock does a great job. He's going to get put on the carpet for one mistake. No, I'm worried. I'm going to be tighter.
Mhm.
But this guy over here, who I've got to cover for, doesn't get. There's going to be resentment for that guy, right?
Yeah, and Guy,
I
you and I have talked about it throughout the year before even Rutherford came out and admitted there were problems in the locker room. I've said all year long that locker room is split. Some of them respect Berube, some of them don't. Some of them can't stand him. And this narrative out in the St. Louis media that they all love him, they all like the guy, that is farthest from the truth.
Oh,
Yeah, no, this
And Brock, I get what you're saying. I understand where you're coming from. I disagree a little bit with you, but like I said, I don't hate the guy. I don't love him, but I don't hate him. I just want to see him held accountable like other people in the lineup, and I just want to see him make less mistakes. If he did that, hey, I'm fine with him. I'd like him.
Would you be surprised if Zack Sanford left St. Louis and became a superstar somewhere else?
Yes.
You would be. Okay.
I would be very surprised because people forget
he doesn't have the skill. He doesn't have the skill.
Maybe a tough word. Maybe superstar.
Yeah, and on a lot of other teams, good teams, if you put him on the Knights, let's say, or the Avalanche, he's a fourth line player every night. Every single night, he's a fourth line player. And that's not knocking the guy. He's got a niche of what he does, and he fits in a certain place. And I want him to do well. I hate it when I got to say Sanford let in another goal. I don't like that. People think I enjoy that kind of stuff. I don't, because I want the Blues to win.
Sure.
And I can see where you're coming from. There are a lot of people probably within the organization, I know for sure, that agree with Berube. This guy could be a breakout star, 35, 30 goal scorer every year. But there's also people within the front office that think this guy's not worth what we're giving him in ice time. Go ahead.
But I mean, I just say, what's the scenario? Then everybody in the locker room, they just look over in the corner and Sanford's in there in a straitjacket. No, the team rallies around him, and that's like, hey man, we get it. You're a young player. I make mistakes. We all make mistakes. So that's what again, if the issues with Berube, that's fine. But I think that the leadership in the room has to say, hey man, we need to brush it off. We need to move forward. We're still in this. We got games. We can do this, and we need you not sulking in the corner. We need you to plug into what we're doing.
Well, he shouldn't be sulking in the corner.
It's not Sanford sulking in the corner.
Clifford's been set. Barbashev's been set. Kairu's been set. Thomas, I know one game.
Hoffman's been set.
Hoffman's been set.
Right at the top in goals.
Hoffman's the guy that's scoring goals and not making. He is making some mistakes, but if you noticed in that last game, he was pretty good defensively in that last game, better than I've seen him all year long. And he's trying to buy into the system. Then you've got a guy like Sanford who makes mistakes, and the coach doesn't hold him up to the same standards. That's the issue I have. Okay. If the coach set him for one game this year, 2 games after mistakes, Brock, I'd have no issue with it. None at all. Because he's held to the same standards. As a teammate, yes, like you said, I'm going to rally around that guy that makes a mistake, hit him in the butt with my stick or tap him in the skates with my stick and say, hey, we'll get him next time. Don't worry about it. But if that happens time and time again, you start to look around the locker room thinking, hey, I make a mistake, I'm set, and for a game or two. And then you look at him and go, he makes a mistake, he's not set. That's a bad precedent to start. And
the accountability that your teammates, teammates, who cares about the coach and the press and the media and the fans? You got to go back in the room with those guys and look down and say, guys, I effed up. I screwed up. I lost this game for you. I'm sorry. Let's move on. And, that takes, I don't know. I just think that there's a lot of complexity. And I don't really understand why Zack Sanford, when he makes a mistake, boy, people just go apeshit. But everybody else,
because his mistakes,
he's not held accountable for it.
Well, okay.
It's not just, hold on. It's not just his mistakes that he's not held accountable for. It's when he makes his mistakes. He makes his mistakes in very, very critical moments. You cannot, do a blind pass in your zone when the other team's playing a pressure zone, meaning they're right there at the blue line, your blue line, not their blue line. You do a blind pass, they come in and take it and then put it in your net. He's done that numerous times. He's not been on his man. He's let his man go right by him numerous times in 1-1 situations, in 2-1 situations. He's turned a manageable game into an unmanageable game consistently. You want
to play offense or you want to play defense? You want to score goals? You want to be defender? I mean, what?
Okay, hold on. See, but this is the thing. This is Berube's system. Berube's system is defense first, offense comes from defense.
Yeah, because what did he say that night to Penger? And you heard the quote, and I've got it recorded on one of my shows. That he says, Penger came out and said, I talked to Berube, and he doesn't want the guys taking those bad chance shots or just putting the puck on the net. He wants them to wear the other team down and then go after their scoring chances. Well, here's the problem with that. The other team's up 2-0 already, and you're starting to wear them down. You're 2 goals behind. You can't play that system every single game. It doesn't work for 82 games. It doesn't work for 56 games. We saw what he did when they went 3-0, Brock. They used speed. They were still playing good defense, and they just looked fast. They were all over the puck, and then he goes back to his defense first scenario, and he doesn't necessarily have all the players to do that anymore. And then they start losing. They're out of position here because you've got Hoffman, who's offensive, worried about defense. You've got Kyrer, who's offensive, worried about defense. You've got Perron, who's offensive and a little bit defensive, worried about defense. You need to let, and I've said it all year, and Brock, you know I've said it, put players in positions to succeed. And Berube, I don't think, is very good at doing that. And I like I said, I don't love Zach Sanford. I don't hate him. I like him, but if he would have been set 1 or 2 games this year, I wouldn't be saying anything about it right now.
If he'd have been set 1 or 2 games this year, we'd be in second place or challenging for second or first. No, because this didn't start 2 weeks ago. This started back in January. Guys, this started back in January. I even wrote about it.
For the Hattie today, everyone will be singing Zach Sanford's praises. Oh, I'm Zach Sanford. We knew you could do it. It's just,
I won't be
so fickle. I mean, you won it. I get it. But, I
got to address something real quick. I got to address something. Hey, guys. So, yes, I'm trying to, to bring your comments into the show. I really am. This is your show. But at the same time, we've got to keep the comments with what we're talking about. And while we may not mention them, I'll try and get them on the screen. And that's what I'm trying to do, guys. So let me go back real quick and talk about a couple of things that I've seen. Ashley had a really good quote or question back here. She says, why do you think Sanford is a favorite? I think that Sanford is one of those guys that matches Berube's style of play. And that's why. But at the same time, when Berube was in the league and played that way, if Berube made a mistake, the coach was berating him right there on the bench in front of the players, in front of the fans, everyone. He would do that. That's the way the style was in the 90s, right, when he played. So, but that's not what he's doing, and that's it. She also said Perron made 3 mistakes in the first minute and a half of the last game.
Yeah,
he did, right? Yeah, and that's something to come with. I seen some other questions. Ian had said we need to play better and score goals. Yeah, we do. Roland said, Tad Dieterman, we need this one. Tad, make sure you get your pick in. I see it in. You're in. Roland says Sanford is not Oshie, and we lost that trade. So we lost. Part of that though was Hitch and Oshie were not on the same page.
Oshie, if you watch him in Washington, he's used totally different. He's used in front of the net, 10 to 15 feet, standing in front of the net to get that pass or to get that deflection. Hitchcock wanted him on the outside, skating around, trying to create plays. He can do that, but that's not his forte. He's averaged more goals since coming to the Capitals than he did with the Blues. And Hitchcock also had an issue with him not wanting to put defense first. Very similar to what Berube has with some guys. And I really do hope, Brock, that Sanford scores 3 goals, because that means most likely we're going to win the game. I want the guy to succeed. I just want him to be held to, the same standards.
Yeah.
I want to say on TJ Oshie, to me, that's the one that got away. I'm sorry. I think we would have been a very different franchise had we developed him, stuck with him, and worked whatever happened.
That was an Oates style trade, I think. That was one of them trades where, we know what this guy is, but he's not fitting with what we're doing. Right. And Oates, I'm sorry, Oates is still one of my favorite players. And I get the contract issues and all that, but I think that could have been solved so much better.
Yep. And if he is one of the top centers I've ever seen play, I don't care if you're talking about Crosby, if you're talking about Gretzky, the man was one of the most natural talents, top 10 in my mind of the best centers to ever play the game. he knew where people were without even turning his head. And imagine we wouldn't be talking about Ovechkin catching up to Gretzky in goals. If Oates would have stayed 3 or 4 more years, we'd be talking about Ovechkin catching up to Brett Hull in goals. Brett Hull would be the top goal scorer of all time.
Yes. If Oates stays for 3 more years, Brett has 70s, and I actually think as wide open as things were then, he chases 96. He chases that. He gets a lot closer. 92, right? 92 is the record. He chases that and catches it. I think that Oates was him and Oates were on a different level. And this was they lived together.
Yeah.
They lived together. They came to the game together. They talked. I met them both before a game when I was still active duty. That's where I got my 75th anniversary puck. That is the type of play that we want. Hey, everybody, real quick, you're watching, 30 minutes gone that quick. Wow. You're watching the Blue Note Fan Report on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Hey, David Bennett, welcome, a newcomer. Please share this show on your pages. Tell all your Blues fans about it. We're sponsored by Forrest Crump Enterprises. I'm joined by the real Brock Banner from the STL Fan Report and by Lance Dascotte of the Drop Hockey Podcast. We're talking Blues hockey, and the Blues are playing the Avalanche, and we haven't even gotten to that game yet, and it's a half hour away.
Yep.
Let's see what David Bennett's got to say. I take a lot of heat from others for saying this. System of coaching is not working. Come next season, we need a coach change, or we will continue to be bottom feeders. Okay, now I'm going to stick to my guns on this. I don't have my issue with Berube is the same issue that Lance has, but I'm not saying that he shouldn't be the coach of the team. I'm saying that there's a move you can make that will shake up everybody, and it's fire Montgomery. And now when I say this, everyone goes, "What? What's Montgomery got to do with it?" And I put a tweet out on Twitter, and I said, well, it's the same amount of Chiefs we had when we had Savard here. No, Savard was not a head coach. You have 2 head coaches on that team. And the confusion that we're seeing this year, we didn't see that confusion in the bubble. We just saw guys not want to listen in the bubble. We didn't see confusion. All this year, we saw confusion. And that's the confusion that we saw when you had Yo and Hitch together. And that's why I say, take that chief, take that cook, that chef out of the kitchen and get back to just one chef.
So can I jump in here on something?
Yeah.
Because, and again, I love you guys, but it's like, why are we talking about Adam Oates and Joe, Coach Yo and stuff? And the game is today. It's Craig Berube. It's 0-0. It's like, let's move forward with this stuff. And I get it. And the thing that and you and I, we've talked about this and a lot is like, and I just put out a tweet today, man, people in this town are so stuck in nostalgia. It's like, okay, I get 2019 is great, but man, it's over. We got our problems right now.
You're right. Again, but our problems that we have right now stem from last season, from the bubble. They go back from there. They've never been corrected.
I still think something should be done to kind of shock the team. I don't know what. I don't think firing Montgomery's going to do anything, or getting rid of the other coach. I can't even think of his name off the top of my head right now.
Van Ryn.
Yeah, and Van Ryn.
Steve Ott.
Yeah, Steve Ott. Last year was a different team. It could have been possible that Savard could have been here this year, and we could have not been a good power play team. It's very possible. I do agree with Guy that something needs to be done, whether it's a meeting with the players personally or something. Something has to be done, and especially if they go into this game tonight and lay another, basically 2 periods of a turd. Mm-hmm. Like they did the other night, because there were times where they looked good against Colorado. They looked good against everybody for a little bit, but then it's like they can't handle success. It's like they either go into a shell or they don't know what to do after that, and it's very frustrating.
Well, I'll tell you who've been beating them. Everybody talks to McKinnon, but Brandon Saad. This guy is the playmaker, and you got to shut him down. And he played for the Blackhawks. He's a veteran. He brings so much to that lineup. again, McKinnon does magical things, and even on the back end with their goaltending's been, Dubnik, where the hell did he come from?
Yeah.
Where he plays for the Blues, But Brandon Saad, I'll tell you that he's the machine that makes them go. And if we can solve him, that puts us back in the game. What do you guys think?
I'm with you. But here's the question. Here's the $1 billion question, right? How are you going to solve it? How are you going to get these guys, this team of guys, these Stanley Cup trophy winners, to finally say enough's enough? We're going to go. We're going to do what we know we have to do and not rebel, because right now they're rebelling.
Lance, let me jump in before you do. Do you think everybody in that room wants the season to continue, or they just want to run out the streak and be done with it? I mean, what do you feel like?
From what I'm hearing, there are some that just want the season to be over.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they won't admit it, and the media is not going to say that, but this is a locker room that is somewhat divided. This is a locker room that some of them really respect Berube. There's a locker room where some of them really don't respect him, and you can see it when you don't respect your coach, it shows up on the ice. And I'm not saying that's Berube's fault. Not at all. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that some of the players, I think, have lost his message and feel like some of those Philadelphia Flyers players did the second season he coached there, to where they're not being heard. He's very straightforward, black and white. There's no gray area with him. And
that's not to interrupt, because he did, people forget in Philadelphia, he had a big problem with, was it Steve Mason or the goalie who was their high price, their star, and he couldn't get along with them.
Nope.
And, I think sometimes people in St. Louis forget that because they got caught up in the Stanley Cup hype, but, he did have problems in Philadelphia. And I think, now that the Stanley Cup's behind him, maybe some of those problems are starting to surface.
Yeah, because at the end of 2019, when they started winning, after Bennington come up, I think January 3rd against the Flyers, after that, the team came together and the team played well. They rallied around each other. And I'm not saying he doesn't deserve some of the credit. I'm just saying that I think 70% of that was team and 30% of it was Berube. Because look at the beginning of the season. Everybody in the NHL thought the Blues were a Stanley Cup favorite. They just didn't play like it.
Yeah.
And I give Berube some credit for that, and I give the team credit for that, because even if a coach has got the best system and he knows how to use players, if the players don't execute, they're not going to win. If they don't believe in it, they're not going to win. Mm-hmm. So they bought into it. They believed in it. They executed it pretty damn well. And I think a coach like him, like Tortorella in Columbus, those type of guys, if you've noticed, I mean, Berube won the cup, but a lot of those guys like that are very in your face, and this is my way or the highway, which is, there's nothing wrong with that.
Let me throw this right back at you.
Yeah.
Give me two players that you don't feel like are pulling their weight, that I've given up on the season. Who are people, in your opinion, that are the cancers in the room? Who are they?
I'd rather not say, because I know two or three of them, and I've been told two or three of them, and I'm not going to say, because I think that needs to stay in the locker room.
That's
the only
fair.
thing I'll confirm is
if
there's locker
Tarasenko
room
one of
issues.
them. I think Tarasenko.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Let me jump in here real quick. And I'm going to piss Brock off. We talked about this the other day. Mm-hmm. There's Coach Quinville, what he's doing in Tampa, right?
Florida.
You mean Florida?
And Florida, I mean, you look at last season, he came in with his system and it didn't work. Mm-hmm. It really didn't.
Yep.
Okay. He tried to fit his system to the players. It didn't work. They got in the playoffs, but during the pause, he changed his system to the players he had. He opened his, he started going a little more man to man. He started backing off that cycle that he likes and started rushing, right? He adjusted to the players he has, right? That is what Berube has failed to do. Today, straight up, today, you have to come out of this game and knock the Colorado Avalanche in the teeth. You need to win this game. You need 3 goals in the first period. It's got to be 3-0 going into the first intermission. You got to knock them in the teeth. You got to smack them down. You got to do what you did to Minnesota a couple of games back, where you really knocked the crap out of, we're coming. Well, not anymore. But you've got to do that. And the way to do that is to really change your system from that cycle to the rush.
Well, how many times he flipped the
because
lines?
what's
He flipped the
happening
lines every game for the past 4 games, he flipped lines. So he's trying something.
Yeah, it's like I told Guy the other day, he's definitely trying. I will give him that. The guy is trying to figure out something, what's going on with his team, and I'll give him credit for at least noticing that and making some adjustments. And I agree with Guy, and I think Brock does too. This team doesn't play really great in close games or games where they're behind by 2 goals. And a lot of teams have problems coming back from 2 goals, but the Blues normally
unless it's against us.
do it. Yeah. Yeah, unless it's us and we go up 2-0 or 3-0 in the first, and then we suck it up in the second period and just lay out a big pile of crap all over the ice. But this team has so much talent, and it's frustrating. I know Brock's frustrated. I know Guy's frustrated. To watch them play, we've got Shim, we've got Perron, guys that score 25, 20 goals a year. We've got O'Reilly, who's been 25, 30 goals, and a great guy that sets people up. We've got Kyrou, who scored so much at the first part of the season. We've got Tarasenko, who's been a 30 to 40 goal scorer almost every year since he's come into the league for the full year. We've got talent. And people keep saying Vladimir, he's past his age. He's 31. No, he's not. He's not past his age. If 4 years from now, if you want to tell me at the age 35 that Tarasenko's past his prime, yes, I'll agree with you.
My take with Tarasenko is when the going's good, he's riding high. When the going's bad, he's moody and he affects people and he doesn't help the situation.
I will tell you something. When things are going bad, he's very quiet.
Yeah.
He's a very quiet guy in the locker room.
Yep.
When things are going bad, when things are going good, not that he's a big time talker, because you can tell from just his interviews, he's kind of a quiet person, but he gets more quiet when things aren't going bad. And I don't know if guys see that as him sulking or if guys see that as, wow, this really affects him. He really cares about the game. Maybe it's both. I don't know, because some people aren't good at reading other people. If you see somebody sad, you might think, man, he's really down on us.
This also is the world of gotcha journalism.
Yeah.
Probably like, I don't want to say anything that get quoted and be.
That's
exactly why I will not tell you who I know are some issues in that locker room, because I respect the privacy of the locker room. I won't go that far.
He's been a different person since what's a rub off mean. Let me finish. He has, and I've heard this in the past, been very what's the word? Conscious of his English, right?
Yeah.
He's very worried about his English. So when he said that and it turned out to be a joke, he changed his interview style. He backed off, right? He backed off. He wasn't as open. It affected him. Yeah. And the shirts, I think the shirts affected him and all of that. It was funny. I mean, I've lived in Japan for years and years and years, and I've heard, people say funny English and that all the time. Yeah, I get a laugh out of it. But you know what? They get a laugh out of my funny Japanese. So I get that. But here's the thing,
don't you? That for his culture, that was just very inappropriate, because in Russia, they don't necessarily talk like that. They don't make jokes about, masturbation. And I think maybe for the culture, it was embarrassing for him. I can kind of see that.
Yeah, they're very serious people. Trust me. I interviewed Roman Vopat, who grew up in a communist country. And I said, so was your dad a huge influence? He's like, yes and no. And he went into the yes and yes. He made sure he got to the hockey games, make sure he got to practice. But in the rest aspects of his life, no, his dad was not a huge part of his life. And a lot of people in Russia are that way, that the guys are taught that where they're brought up. Now, there are exceptions to the rule, but overall, the men have to be stoic. The men have to take the charge. The men have to do this. They can't cry. They can't go to their sons and say, I love you. They can't do this. They can't do that. It's just a different culture, just like Japan is a totally different culture.
Yeah. So here's my thing with Tarasenko, and it's the conflicting message he's getting. He's getting a conflicting message. Play defense, play defense, play defense. Okay, I play defense. I kick the puck. I knock the puck. I get the puck out. I get breakaway. I do this. Okay. Score goals. I play defense. You said play defense. Now you say score goals. I think he's getting a conflicting message. And I didn't mean to make fun of the language. I was just trying to, trying to because, but that's what I'm seeing. right? And Chris is saying he's always been conscious of his English, right? Hey guys, are you enjoying the show tonight? Let me know. Throw them thumbs in the air. This has actually been a lot of fun. We got 25 minutes. Oh wow, we got plenty of time. Let's keep this going. Hey, pick 'em contest. Devin Dayton was the last one. We're at 29. You guys still got to get in. And you know what? Share this out to your friends. Go in the lounge. Tell people to watch it. Get them here. Bring them in. There's no pregame show unless you want to watch NBC in a little bit, because I got NBC on and they're still talking about the Super League in soccer. Boy, was that a dumb mistake. you know?
But
so
the thing about Vladdy is, I really want to give him a break because of the culture and all that, but let's forget it. He's not a rookie. He's been in the league for several years. He's played at the highest level. He's won a Stanley Cup. He's been influential in winning the Stanley Cup. So it's kind of hard to be like, okay, he's gone his way back. It's like, no, you were advertised as a superstar, as an elite player, and that's what we're expecting. And when you don't show up with that, fans get a little uptight.
You want my personal opinion? And I understand. Yeah, there were people that thought he was, a premier or elite. I don't consider, to me, a top 20 player, top 10 is elite. And even when he was scoring 35, 36 goals, whatever it was, 43, I thought at that time he was one of the best in the league, but I wouldn't consider him elite. Guys that are elite are McDavid. Elite is, to me, is past a superstar. When you're elite, you're the top 5 in the league. And, I think some people, some people look at him and expect him to be Crosby. They expect him to be McDavid. And I think that's a little too much to ask of him. Is he a 30-goal scorer every year if everything falls in place? Yes. If things go better than expected, can he score 40? Yes. But I honestly think when you're looking at an all-around player and you look at a guy that I think is better all around, I would say Ryan O'Reilly is. He's more consistent, not as up and down as Vladdy is. And Vladdy can score 3 goals in a game, and you haven't heard from him in 6 games. Yeah. That's just the way guys like him are. You won't hear anything for 10 games, and then he'll score 13 goals in 8 games.
Yeah. Well, Braden Chen, 18 games, been without a goal. 18.
Yeah, it's frustrating. They got guys that can score. They're just not scoring. They're making other goalies look very good. And I know people will say, well, the goalie's in the right position, and that's why the goalies are looking good. No, I've seen a lot of times the goalie is against the post, down on his pads, and they shoot it right in his belly. And they see him down on his pads, and they shoot it right in his belly. That's not good angle and good positioning by the goalie. That's just you're shooting it right at his gut.
When was the last time the Blues scored a breakaway? I mean, they've just been terrible at breakaways.
I don't think they've scored one all year.
And you know what I think the problem is? A lot of times they try to go between the legs, and goalies, when a goaltender knows your tendencies as a team, he's going to revert to that every single time. If he knows the team's going to try to go between his legs, that's his first power to stop you. Is he knows, okay, I got Shin and Tarasenko coming down on me right and left wing, and I got Bozak coming for some reason. He's on the line, coming down center about 10 feet behind him. What am I going to do? Okay, I'm going to hold it out, pass over to Tarasenko. I'm going down on my pads. I'm not going to stay up. I'm going down because I know they're going to try to go 5-hole.
And Tarasenko didn't used to do that. He used to go up towards that corner.
He used to go up shoulder high on the blocker side or shoulder high on the glove side.
And that's
Did you see that shot? Did you see that goal that Clem Closton made today? Oh my good. He aimed for that corner.
Yeah, here's the thing. People say you don't aim. Well, you don't necessarily aim, but you shoot for a spot. You shoot for a spot. That's why when you see those guys like McKinnon and O'Reilly do those drills where they got the three bullseyes and then the 3 on the bottom. Yeah. I mean, I can do that all day because I played hockey. I can hit those bullseyes every single time. But those guys too, they played a lot longer than I did, and they played in professional leagues. Yeah. You can aim for a spot and hit that spot if you're good enough. Yeah, that goal by Costin, that was just nasty. That wasn't just a shot that he didn't know where it was going. He knew within an inch.
He knew where that was going. I watched exactly that. Yeah, I watched that 3 or 4 times, and I'm thinking, I looked at that. He aimed. When that puck came to him, he saw that corner because his head goes like this. He glances up, comes back as he's got his cock, and he goes down on that knee, and he's right. I mean, he's going right for that corner.
Yeah, he's got great vision.
He aimed that shot. He knew he was going there.
Is the KHL goal similar to an NHL goal?
I mean, the goalies, I'll tell you, out of all the teams, there's probably, and people will disagree with me, they say the KHL is just like the NHL. you've probably got 25 to 35% of the players in the KHL that could play in the NHL. The rest of them are AHL type players. And the AHL is a good league. The AHL, I mean, there's guys, we've seen it with Ty Ratty. Ty Ratty was great in the AHL, not a superstar, but pretty damn good. He comes to the NHL and he can't score because there's a fraction of the game that's just that much faster and that much better. And the goalies are just that much better. And that's a huge difference going from the AHL to NHL. So it probably would have scored in the NHL, but against a good goaltender, he probably would have had the right angle and had a better chance of saving it.
Whose team do you think this is? We definitely it's Ryan O'Reilly's, but who else would you say, who are the people leading this team?
That's easy for me. Perron and Shin.
Okay. Anyone
Perron
else?
and Shin.
I think it's Perron and Shin. I think when Pareko's healthy, he steps up.
Yeah.
I think he's not a loud leader. He's one of those guys that tries to do it like Pietrangelo did. He tries to do it on the ice and talk to guys while they're on the ice. Hey, did you notice he's doing that? Sometimes you'll see him talking in the faceoff zone. A defenseman will come up and say something in his ear or something. Hey, I'm going to be back here to your left. I'm not to your right here. Get it over here. And he's that type of guy. He's got great vision. He can see things, and he leads by example on the ice. But I would agree with Guy. I would say Perron and Shin, even though Shin's not been scoring lately and Perron's hasn't scored in a few games. I would say they're the leaders in the locker room right now. If I would say any two.
Yeah. Don't disagree. I mean, I like the effort we've been getting from Schwartz lately. Was a great question on the line about Binnington and the goaltending. And again, Lance, you're kind of the goaltender guy. I'm going to defer to you. What do you think? He had a good game last game. Do you think he's coming back? And you think this is the start of something good?
I think it could be the start of something good. I saw a lot of good things from him. He's anticipating the shots a little bit better than he was in those games where he had let in one or two soft goals. The games we're talking about. And, a goalie is it's all about confidence. It's all about your mental game, your mental strength and confidence. And when a goalie starts being confident, those pucks don't come at you 95, 96 miles an hour. I'm not joking. It's almost like it's slowed down. It almost feels like where that puck's going to go every single time before they shoot it. When you see it coming to you, it's like it's coming at you at 30 miles an hour. And people go, I don't see how. It's kind of like a car accident. When it's happening, it's really slow, but afterwards you're like, damn, that was fast. That's kind of the way goaltending can be. And you can get hot when you start slowing down a game mentally. And that's what I kind of see from him. And a lot of people blamed him for that loss against Avalanche. Not a ton, but a lot of them I seen on Twitter. And I said, people, I played goalie from the age of 6 till I was 42 years old. I'm telling you, goaltending is lower on the list than a lot of things you might think are. Is he the guy that he was at the second half of 2019? No. But like I told people back then, after that season, do not expect Binnington to be a sub 2.0 goals against guy and a 917 plus save percentage guy. He's not going to be that.
We're paying him $6 million a year, though. We're paying
but still,
he's one of the highest guys on the team.
Yeah, but still, though, Brock, look at Connor Hellebuck. He makes $6.4 million or $6.1 million. $6 million a year. I know a lot of people are all up in arms around it. Is not one of the highest in the league. I mean, it's decently up there. Yeah. But this is a guy that won a cup. This is a guy that, regardless of what people think, if he'd have went on the open market, I think he could have got 7 for 5 years, probably from another team.
Yeah.
Would that have been smart? No. I personally think the Blues should have waited. And I think towards about now, maybe towards the end, they could have got him for just a little bit more of a raise over his $4 million and something. They could have got him for 5.2 or 5.4 because he knows that he hasn't played well. But hey, I'm not upset about that contract.
I don't want to, but what was the big rush to sign him? Why couldn't they wait?
I think one of the big rushes was I think that the agent went to them and said, hey, we want to sign. We'll sign for lower than what we could probably get. I know you want this, but I think we can come in at that. And then they agreed on something lower in between. And I think that Armstrong's got enough to deal with this offseason with whether he's going to re-sign Schwartz, Bozak, the draft, Hoffman, that he wanted to make sure his goaltending was tied up. And hey, if you've got a goaltender that's around 2.6 goals a game and he can get that save percentage up to 915 plus, you're doing pretty good. And that's an above average goaltender.
I don't have a problem with the $6 million contract. I don't have a problem with that at all. Carey Price is $10 million and doesn't have a cup. Carey Price has not led Montreal to the Eastern Conference Finals, and he's $10 million. Okay, no. At some point, you gotta stop.
Yeah.
The amount that you should spend on goalies, I've always thought was $8 million. If you spend 6 on your prime and 2 on your backup, you're getting a backup. $2 million for a backup. That's a backup that's ready to be a starter.
But what about the term? The term is like 6 years. It's like a goalie. I mean, for a goalie to be 6 year good for 6 years, you're really flipping the coin, you know?
Well, see, not yes and no, because that contract is really only 3 years. That's a 3-year contract because you only have to keep them for 3 years. After that no trade clause kicks in and it goes from 18 to 14 to 10 or something like that. Yeah. So I'm going
to ask you guys a real quick question. Would you say that Jordan Binnington's better than Jacob Markstrom? I would say yes. Connor Hellebuck about the same. Matt Murray, John Gibson. John Gibson's making $400,000 more than Binnington is for the Blues. Binnington is the number 9th paid guy in the league, and I think that's about right. I think he's somewhere between about the 9th and 13th goaltender in the league. So that's $6 million to me. And I would say with the way the salaries have went up, I know they've kind of stagnated. I would say, yeah, I agree with that. Somewhere between $8 and $9 million you want to be for your 2 goaltenders. If you get too much more than that, like look at Montreal, they got $10 million with Carey Price and almost $4 million with Jake Allen.
$4 million with Allen,
it was. That's way too much. You're taking up too much of a percentage of your team, and it shows. I mean, Jake Allen has played well, and people will just see the end results. That team has such big holes defensively that they just put their goalies out to dry, and Jake is still doing pretty good for a guy. And Carey Price is still doing very good, but he's not worth his $10 million. In my mind, he's $6.5–7 million.
Montreal's underperformed, so the fans up there are very upset. If you watch Twitter, they're up in arms.
Hey, Brock. People in Montreal are always up in arms, just like people in Toronto.
Well, that's true.
That's New York and Boston in baseball. That's New York and Boston in baseball. Absolutely. So, hey guys, it's getting closer and closer to game time. I got to get to the pick'em contest. Brock, you got to get your picks in, buddy. You keep forgetting on me.
Get in there right now.
Yeah, you can. So I'm going to bring up my picks. So here it is. You go to stlfanreport.com right there. And oops, I got to move this over a little bit. There we go. Okay. Let me try to do something. Go to stlfanreport.com. My page is kind of messed up. I don't know. There's something was going on with the site earlier today. Slip down to contest. Go right here. Hawaii Blues Fan Pick'em Contest. That's where I'm at. You'll see the first, second, and third prizes out. Now my page is reset. Okay. Watch it. Watch this thing not want to work on me today. It wouldn't surprise me one bit. Yeah, come on. I'll bring this back here and pull it off for a second while we're talking. And I'll go back. I'll keep an eye on it and see if it pops back up. See if it finishes there. I'm having some issues. This is an interesting game, and I have a key to this game. The key to this game is Dubrovnik's blocker. Shoot the pucks at his blocker for rebounds. You get in, and you get there to where he's knocking rebounds, you're going to get some dirty goals. That's how you're going to win today is dirty goals. Don't go for the glove. Go for the blocker. Make him use his blocker. And I think, so you let me know, goalie, was that a good strategy today?
I think with Dubnyk, because he is kind of tall. I mean, he's not, hugely tall. It's not like he's, 6'5" or 6'6", but I think with him, you've got to try to go high. Going low, it's not going to work again. It's not going to work for you. And he is vulnerable on his blocker side. If you get it up about 3 inches and above his blocker side, and a lot of goalies are, but he's got a good glove, and people just go on and on. I can't believe the Blues lost to Devin Dubnyk. Guys, at one time, he was one of the top 5 goalies in the league. He's not anymore, but this guy can play. He can shut you out when he wants to. he's not as bad as people, think he is. People just look at his goals against in the last year and a half and look at his save percentage. And it's like Gibson in Anaheim. Gibson's a good goalie. He's on a terrible team. If Gibson played for played for a top team, like maybe the Oilers even, who don't have a great defense, but they're better than the Ducks, he would be in the top 7-8 goalies when it comes to goals against and save percentage. So, I think Dubnyk gets a lot of hate when he doesn't deserve it. And that's maybe I'm a goaltender and I'm giving him too much slack there, but he's a good goalie that can play good when he wants to. And that's why Colorado got him. He's one of those guys that if you have to put him in the playoffs, he's got playoff experience. And that's why the Avs got him.
Well, I think today's going to be the Blues are going to come out, I think offensive, a lot of traffic in front of the net. I think there's going to be, they're definitely going to be shooting more. Again, they only shot 20 something shots last game. I think that they're, for them to have success, they have to put shots on the net and again, follow up the rebounds, have traffic there, have the dirty goals. Again, I think you're right, Guy. The dirty goals are going to win the game.
Well, if you see on my pick, I did it while Lance was talking. I went Blues 6-2 because that's the way they're going to have to win this game. They're not winning a close one in this game. They're not. They've got to take Colorado out of their game, and you take Colorado out of their game by forcing them to be over offensive. Because what's happened is as soon as they get that lead, they switch. Well, you know what? Hey, the story so far, Vince, why aren't you in the pick'em contest? You could be, if you believe the Avs are that great, get in the pick'em contest, pick them 6-2 and see what happens. Yeah. I'd love to see it. Come on, man.
Hey, Vince, put your keyboard where your mouth is.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I like that. But no, for me, it's going to come down to firing shots, not wide of the net and not here, but firing shots at the corners. Getting the corner, getting dirty, getting in there, getting dirty, getting heavy, getting push them back. And here's the other thing. Here's the elephant that we haven't talked about. And this is exactly what's going to affect this game. It's the officiating. Right?
There we go.
No, well, okay. See, I know where you're at, Brock. I know where you're at. But you know what?
I'm exactly where he's at because I don't blame officiating because it evens out throughout the year. You get calls.
Okay. It does. You know what?
I don't blame
That's
officiating.
Right. That's okay. I get it. But the last 2 games that the Blues have played the Avalanche, the officiating has gone on the side of the Avalanche. It really has.
Yeah. I want to ask you this question though.
Yeah.
If there's not the penalties and the power play goals that the Colorado got, do you think the Blues, with the way they're playing, would have won that game? I don't.
It's like, to me, it's like people complaining about, why is the game on NBC? I hate NBC. Well, the game's on, okay? I mean, and Guy, I love you, but come on, man, the refs don't.
Yeah, we all love
take
you,
the
Guy.
refs out of the game. Take the refs out of the game. That's
okay. You know what? I absolutely want to do that. I absolutely want to do that. I want to take the refs out of the game. And you know how you take the refs out of the game? You make them stick that you make them call penalties that are penalties, and you make them not call phantom calls.
The last game, the Blues had 4 power plays when they were done, and they couldn't convert. I mean, so
they had power play. You know what? They had power plays late in the game when the Avalanche were playing pure defense.
Yeah, but you know what, Guy? The best time to get those power plays is late in the game when the other team's tired, when they can't chase you around your offensive end.
The Avalanche weren't tired. There was no way that they were tired. This team is.
I'm saying in a lot of instances, the other team's going to be just as tired, if not more.
Talk about the power play real quick. Why do we have to spend the first minute chasing the puck down on our net? The first.
Oh my goodness! Hold on, guys. I got to bring this up.
All right.
Ashley just brought it up. You guys are not going to freaking believe this. Are you ready? These are the lines.
Nothing shocking.
These are the lines. O'Reilly centering Shen and Kyrou. Top line. Bozak centering Schwartz and Tarasenko. I like that line.
I like that one.
Thomas centering Barbashev and Perron. And Sanford centering Blaze and Hoffman on your 4th line.
I agree with Sanford on the 4th line, whether it's a winger or center. I think that's where he belongs. Hoffman, I think Berube's trying to bury him personally because he's not going to succeed on that line.
He's not. And this is
you've got two guys like Blay and in Sanford. Blay loves to hit and he's got speed. Then you got Sanford that likes to play a little bit of a physical game. He's not going to fight, but he does play physical. And then you got Hoffman with nobody to really set him up.
I was surprised by Perron being on the third line.
Yeah, that shocks me a little bit, but I'm okay with the first three lines.
Yeah, but I would love to have Hoffman up there with Thomas centering Perron and Hoffman.
Yeah. I could see that. But you know what? I'm going to tell you, it's like I said, I'm not Berube's biggest fan, but I do respect the guy for trying to make changes. At least he's doing that.
You know what?
He's throwing spaghetti on the wall and he's trying to see what falls off, which is, hey, when you get to be at this point in the season, what else are you going to do? Sit everybody and bring up all the taxi squad? No, you can't do that. You've got to try something.
What you do is you change your damn system. You take if your system's not working, put something else in. And he's throwing all these things trying to make a system work when he doesn't have the players to make a system work.
Because we're getting close to game time, and I'm just going to leave it at this. All this gnashing of teeth and all this stuff, we're still in it. Like, we can't even lose.
You're right. You're right. Crazy. But we're in it. We're in it to get one round and get beat.
Hey, but you get
in 5 games
as you get in, so I don't know, but we'll see.
Right. I'm just, I don't know. I'm trying to be positive. We really am.
I got you.
Yeah.
And what I want to talk about post game, I really want to get into this post game, whether people watch us or not. I want to get into the new economics. Me and Brock talked about this. I think it was either me or Brock or me and Lance.
I talked to you about it.
Yeah. $6 million. A $6 million player is no longer a $6 million player. He's a $4 million player.
He's a $4.5 to $5 million player.
So the economics have changed. And because the economics have changed, this upcoming offseason is going to have a lot of meaning to the Blues next 3 to 4 years. Right? Really, really does. And I really want to see what's going to happen, because Hoffman's a $6 million player. That means he's at 4. I like Hoffman at 4, and I like Hoffman on the Blues at 4.
At $4 million, if Berube will use him right, I like him, but I think he can get 5. I think he can get 3 or 4 years at $5 million. Whether he deserves that, I don't know. But I think
I'd pay him that
5.
If you can make the numbers work, I'd pay him that. But here's the other thing that I'd come down with. I like this. Jason Nichols. I'm too positively pissed. Braden Shen's on right now on NBC.
We lost Guy.
Oh.
Uh-oh. No, but I think Brock and I are both trying to be positive about this. I mean, I think we're all just a little upset about the way things have gone.
It's like, the pros. It's not we're not talking about a college team. We're talking about guys who pay a lot of money, who are accountable, and So Brock, we lost you there for.
We lost you there, Guy.
Lost you for a minute.
Yeah, I hit the wrong button and I hit my little mouse center and it clicked me out of it. So
I thought
that
you
was
got
on me.
upset with us because we're talking against you here now.
Yeah, hey, that's fine, man. Well, I'm. First period. Let's break this. Let's just go first period. Lance, I want to know what you think is going to happen in the first.
Don't give up quick goals. If they don't give up a quick goal within the first 6-7 minutes, I think they can win the game. If they give up a quick goal, it's common sense. It's going to put them behind the 8 ball, and they're going to continue to play that defensive system. If Bennington plays like he did in the last game, they'll be fine goaltending-wise, but they need to get more pressure on Dubnyk, not just pressure, but sustained. Not just one shot and out of the offensive zone, 2 and 3 shots on him in one rush, and I think they'll win this game if they can do that.
Okay, so looks like the lineups might have changed. Looks like it might be Clifford's not playing though.
Yeah, I didn't think Clifford was playing.
Yeah, maybe he's practicing out there. I don't know. Maybe Sanford didn't go. I don't know. We'll kind of see.
Yeah, we'll see.
This is the other big one. Late goals. Don't give up that late goal, that last minute goal. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Brock?
I'm thinking we're going to score midway through. We're going to work the puck. It's going to be a more of a strategic game. I think we're going to really try to work it and develop our offense, develop the cycle. A lot more shots. I think there's going to be a lot of shots this game. But I do think 1-0 in the first period. I'm going to take the Blues with the goal. I'm going to give it to someone like Vince Dunn. I think he comes up and throws it in and gets a goal.
Yeah, for the lines, I'm not sure right now. I know. Okay, so they're saying Sanford's on ice, so we're just going to have to see. I don't know. It looks like things might get
I thought
mixed
Sanford
up a
was on
little
the
bit.
fourth line, so he should be on the ice.
Yeah, yeah.
Clifford is-
So we'll see. But Clifford's not playing supposedly, but he's on the ice, so we'll kind of see. But then again, they do have guys that are scratched can practice, can be out there for warm up, right?
Yeah, but a veteran like Clifford, he's not getting dressed up if he.
No, unless he might be playing, he's not getting dressed. Maybe he's going to be put on the fourth line off and on, and he's only going to get 6 to 8 minutes, something like that, and he's just on the roster for that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
it says he might be in a pregame for insurance. Yeah. Roland says he's seen Sanford sitting, so I don't know.
The bench are up in the press box.
Yeah, that's I'm trying to watch right now.
On the bench, he's in the game.
Yeah.
So, guy, what's your deal?
Yeah, what's yours take?
Okay, so it's going to come down to this. I want to see the Blues come out firing on all 8 cylinders. I mean, firing, bam, 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 and take Colorado's game to them. Get into their zone, use your speed, make it happen. Problem is, I don't see it. I don't see Berube taking the leash off and saying, you know what, I'm not working. Let's try this. Because you look at the lines that I read, that is forechecking lines. That's defense lines. That everything there told me that this is defense.
You're breaking up, guy.
Okay, yeah, well, we're getting close, but everything told me that this is defense.
It just tells
so I see Colorado being ahead 2-0 at the end of the first.
Oh.
And I picked the Blues 6-2, so maybe I'm wrong, but let's see.
Well, they're just playing like a desperate team right now.
Yep. Well, we're just about there. I'm gonna let you guys enjoy the game on NBC and Pierre Maguire. Don't hate on him too much. Make sure you come back to the intermission report. I got both you guys on the intermission report. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. Let's have a good game, and I'm trying not to be cynical, guys. You know that, you know me, but I just keep thinking Berube blew this, and he blew it in the bubble, and it's never come back.
And I will tell you, as much sometimes, Guy, I give you trouble because your takes I feel like are way off. And then what the hell, they start happening. Like you predicted a shorthandy, and they almost got the shorthanded. So I'm done trying to vote against you, man, because whatever you say happens.
Yeah. I got a good understanding of this team. I mean, it may not seem like it, but you really look at it. I have a pretty damn good understanding of this team and what they're doing out there, right? Yeah. So that's, and Jason Nichols, as we're going away, says, let the bodies hit the floor. Well, Jason,
there you go.
Let's use the St. Louis Blues March, and let's channel our inner Charles Glenn. Oh, when the Blues go marching in. Oh, when the Blues go marching in, it makes Lance Dascotte get out of the podcast. Aloha, mahalo, and I'll see you on the intermission show. Love y'all. I got to get to the right button.